Welcome back to a new post today. Today, let's look at the most important environmental summits or meetings that are going to happen in 2024. We also know that we have the COP29 to Paris Climate Change Agreement. That's the Conference of Parties under the United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change. So let's look at the most important upcoming events and also the past held events of environment significance with regard to the UPSC examination. So the very first is about in September this month, 17th, we had the greening of African horizon. Now it's called as a global green renaissance, where which the meeting will be addressing the continent's vast natural resources to support its food systems, livelihoods, young population, etc. But climate crisis could put all those into a disadvantage, and therefore this conference will explore how Africa can actually tackle these challenges by harnessing its potential from its diverse landscape and also people as well. The next, in October 2024, we have the GLF Investment Case Symposium. So we have the meeting to be held in Cali, Colombia, and for 2024 United Nations Biodiversity Conference to protect the rich tapestry of the life on Earth and also essential services to humanity. So at the world's largest event of sustainable finance in Global South this year, there is a aim to raise $200 billion year for biodiversity. Next is the coming Summit of the Future, which is going to be held and is also being attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New York. Now, this Summit of the Future is a high-level event that will bring world leaders from all over the world, from the globe, together to forge a new international consensus on how we can have a better future for the coming generations and how can we we can protect the present a globe or earth and safeguard them from the problems that are being faced by the earth presently, like climate change, global warming, food insecurity, wars, pandemics, etc. So the summit has two aims: to accelerate the efforts to meet our existing international commitments and to take concrete steps to respond to the emerging challenges and opportunities. The next is about the Climate Week. Now in 2024, from 22nd to 28th September, it is going to be celebrated in New York in USA. And during the same week, you have the Summit of the Future. The annual Climate Week at New York will organize 500 in-person hybrid online events all across the city of New York. And we have in October, November, 21st October, 1st November, we have the United Nations Biodiversity Summit to be happen. The conference will at Cali, Colombia. So we have the conference will encompass the 16th Conference of Parties to the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, Nagoya Protocol, and also the Convention on Biological Diversity. The COP16 will be tasked with reviewing the state of implementation of the coming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework adopted in COP15 at Montreal, Canada in December 2022. And in November, we have the United Nations Climate Change Conference COP29 of the Paris Climate Change Agreement to be held in Baku in Azerbaijan. And last year's 28 was held in Dubai. So we saw countries for the very first time coming together to transition away from fossil fuels as well as finance the loss and damage fund. In November, the world leaders and the delegates will meet once again in Azerbaijan, Baku, to meet at the largest climate event of the year, where they will aim to establish a new global climate finance goal. And the next to be held in December is the Conference of Parties of 16 to the United Nations Convention on Combating of Desertification. Now, the leaders will convene for actions on dry lands under the United Nations Convention for Combating of Desertification. It is the world's largest summit on the land challenges since the last Conference of Parties in the Ivory Coast at Abidjan in May 2022. And the past events have been in January 2024 at New York. We had the United Nations Economic and Social Council kick off the 2024 Partnership Forum on the theme of reinforcing the 2030 agenda and eradicating poverty as well in times of multiple crises. The effective delivery of sustainable, resilient and innovative solutions. The forum will focus on 5 main sustainable development goals. That is goal number 1, no poverty, 2, zero hunger, 13, climate action, 16, peace and justice, and 17, partnership for these goals. In March 2024, we had the annual World Ocean Summit where in Lisbon in Portugal and hosted by the Economics Impacts World Ocean Initiative. This year, the World Ocean Congress and Expo seeks to spark a conversation with regard to sustainable ocean economy. We had in March 2024 Accelerating Nature-Based Solutions Conference. The world's largest land restoration program conference will bring together global thought leaders, chain makers and action makers to address key challenges about laying down plans to accelerate nature-based solutions. This event will be co-hosted by Global Evergreening Alliance, the government of Zambia and the United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. In March 2024 in Lisbon, Portugal, we had the Future Days, the Actionable Futures Festival held on 50th anniversary of the Portuguese democracy. This festival focused on democratizing the futures. The program covered three main themes: post-urban lives in large-scale ecosystem, equitable governance for tomorrow's societies, and pluricultural creations and the AI era as well. And in 2024, April 2024, we had the Ocean Decade Conference in Barcelona in Spain. As we near halfway of the United Nations Decade on Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the UNESCO event focused on achievements since the Ocean Decade, that is from 2021 to 2030, is the Ocean Decade by the United Nations. And the three-day conference covered critical ocean challenges like climate change, food security, sustainable management, sustainable ocean economy, pollution and natural hazards. And in May 2024, we had the International Conference of Small Island Developing States in Antigua and Barbuda. The small island developed states come away disappointed with the agreement made at COP28, and in May the group will reconvene for sustainable development progress. The Bonn Climate Change Conference happened in June 2024 in Bonn, Germany, under the United Nations Framework on Climate Change, and the Third World Biodiversity Forum happened in June 2024 in Davos, Switzerland, under the theme From Science to Action. The Third World Biodiversity Forum will bring together researchers, practitioners and civil society to explore how we can move from science to action and solutions to conserve the biodiversity. And in June 2024, we also had the European Congress for Conservation of Biology, or the ECCB, organized by the European Section of Society for Conservation of Biology, and it focused on the key theme of biodiversity positive by 2030. And in June 2024, we had the local governments for sustainability organizing the World Congress of 2024 with regard to sustainable urban development, hosted by Sao Paulo and Brazil. And we had the GLF peatlands 2024 at Bonn, Germany. Peatlands make up just 3 to 4% of the Earth's area, but they store more carbon than all of the world's forests combined. At this event, the Bonn Climate Change Conference, they found out how crucial these peatland ecosystems are. And we had the IUFRO World Conference, one of the largest global foreign events held every 5 years since 1893, and bringing together leading scientists and top leaders to co-create sustainable future for forestry, climate and society under the theme of Forest and Society towards 2050. And the 17th International Peat Congress was held in August 2024 at Taozhou in China, hosted by the International Peatland Society. The 17th International Peat Congress will provided a platform for peatland scientists, entrepreneurs and other stakeholders to exchange knowledge, best practices and new ideas about the peatland conservation and advocated responsible use of peatland resources as well. The year's theme was Peatlands in the Changing World. These are some of the most important climate related or environmental related summits and meetings that were held in 2024 from January until now, and to be held further even with the COP29 to be held now in Baku, Azerbaijan, where India will be participating as well. Most of the discussions on the loss and damage fund. Please track out all of these conferences, very, very important from the UPSC civil services examination point of view, because environment and sustainable development is an emerging and a most important theme not only for India but for world over as well, helpful even in your essay writing as well. So I shall see you tomorrow for the polity and governance of the week gone by and economy for the week gone by. Until then, it's very happy learning and the next session to catch you up for September 9th. Very happy learning.